Everything is all fine and dandy in the Avatar universe until someone comes along with the power to take away your bending. And he can do it in like 4 seconds. This is serious. This is The Legend of Korra Season 1. Don't go away. So to start, I recently watched Avatar The Last Airbender, all the seasons, for the first time ever, and it was awesome. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. It's one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. It's honestly speechless trying to describe it. Knowing that Legend of Korra was ahead of me, I was super hyped that I get to go through another like Avatar experience for the first time again, and I know how grateful I am for that. But I also know that there is probably going to be a super high bias standard, because the Avatar The Last Airbender was amazing. Oh, here comes pretty much Avatar The Last Airbender 2. Is it going to be just as good? I know for a fact there's no way that The Legend of Korra will be as good as The Last Airbender. But too bad, Legend of Korra, you have to carry the burden of being the sequel to something amazing. It's what The Last of Us Part 2 had to deal with. Sure, The Last of Us Part 2 is a good game, in my opinion, if you didn't play the first one. And then there's games like The Witcher 3, which are a sequel to 2. No one really even played 2. 2 was an okay game. 3 was generally considered the best game ever made.
Behold, your Arendite.
So too bad, Legend of Korra, you have to carry the burden of being Avatar The Last Airbender pretty much Part 2. So to start off, I will say the intro immediately did not catch my eye at all. The intro for The Last Airbender was amazing, and in Legend of Korra, I think it was just too quickly done. Like, they don't show off the elements, like, not enough. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, you're being too critical. You literally just said that you already know you're biased towards this high standard of burden. Well, guess what? The intro being too quick is something I feel like I should call out. So probably the most important thing in this series is the new Avatar, Korra. If I was forced to compare this gang to the last gang, it would be pretty much, well, Korra's the new Aang, Mako's the new Zuko, I guess, Bolin's the new Toph, and looking at our non-bending fighters, we got Asami taking the place of Sokka. Now, Korra is a really good character. I thought she is really, really well designed. Her, like, the way she looks is just perfect for an Avatar, in my opinion. She's a decent character. I don't think we got as many episodes as I wanted. Season 1 is only 12 episodes long compared to like the usual like 20 episodes that Avatar The Last Airbender was. Mako is a good character. I think he gets a little too caught up in the whole love triangle thing. That's pretty much his only story. He does have a little bit more backstory, but he's got more than his brother Bolin, who I think is by far the weakest character. He's the earthbender of this gang. He's taking the place of Toph. He is sort of a funny guy, so he could be taking the place of Sokka, but Sokka was not an earthbender. The earthbender of this group is Bolin. And literally all I know about Bolin is that he is an earthbender, and that him and his brother's parents died when they were early. Really don't know too much. He had like a crush on Korra in the beginning. Asami is a pretty cool character. I think just as good as Sokka. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but Sokka, I didn't warm up to Sokka until like the last like 10 episodes of season 3. So Asami is a good character in my opinion.
Family again.
Are you insane? How can we be a family after everything you've done?
You also have branching out characters that aren't part of the main cast. Like Tenzin is probably my favorite character of the bunch. He is, I don't know who does his voice acting. I should search this up. I'll put it like right here or some shit. His voice actor just makes him seem like such a calm guy, but Tenzin is so good this season, and his family is pretty good too. You got Iki, who's like a pretty cool child, but then you have like Milo or Milo, whatever the guy's name is. He's only there for comedic relief. He is like, he looks like he's 1 year old, but he can like airbend pretty well. I don't even know what to say about him, because almost every single scene he was in was kind of cringy. I know it's a Nickelodeon show, so when he does his airbending as farts, like he does fart bending in a scene.
Girls, you need to go back inside this instant.
Chase my theory!
Cringeworthy.
100%.
Oh, God.
Another one of my favorites, Lin Beifong, which I think is Toph's daughter or granddaughter. I don't know, one of those two. I thought she was a really good character. She has history with Tenzin, and I thought that she could have maybe been more part of the story. If I had full control, I think that they should be more involved with the story. Of course, this is only season 1 out of like 4, so it could get way more in depth from here. So the actual story of this is something that I was surprised with. This is a 1-season story, as far as I know. In The Last Airbender, it was Aang has to kill the Fire Lord, and that was the objective from episode 1 of season 1 to episode like 21 or whatever, how many episodes there were in season 3. Here, Amon, who is the bad guy of the season, can take away people's bending, and it's like a whole revolution. It's like the non-benders versus the benders, equality and all this. It's like, oh, you guys are like too strong, you guys are suppressing us and stuff. So like, yeah, here's Amon, he can take away everyone's bending, let's get behind this guy. The other main part of the story is, here it comes, blood bending, and I can't believe this is a major part of the story. Why can't Katara blood bend Azula? It's unblockable, extremely OP and broken. Hell, Katara should have went with Aang and blood bended the Fire Lord. Boom, season over. You'll never stop me, Katara. Blood bend. I'm the Fire Lord. I have blood bend. I'm done. Every great story has its kryptonite. Harry Potter has the Killing Curse, which could have technically been used at any point and has absolutely no rules. Avatar has blood bending. It is the most OP thing in the world. Almost most OP thing. The only thing that can break it out is the Avatar in the Avatar state. And there was actually a legit funny line I found in the series.
You always say bloodbending is the most powerful thing in the world, but it isn't. The Avatar is. He took your bending away. What could be more powerful than that?
But if you're not the Avatar, you can pretty much die to bloodbending at any point. And it's gotten even more OP, because before you needed to have a full moon and you needed to have like full hatred of emotion towards your subject. Now, the guy, Amon, could bloodbend an entire room of people without like even trying. I don't want to get into bloodbending too much, so I won't, because it's not the most fun thing to talk about. One of the things that was kind of interesting is that the show goes for like a 1920s New York style setting where it's like real old-timey, and the previous Leons go like this.
Equalists are on the attack. The lieutenant and his chi blockers invaded Air Temple Island and forced Tenzin and his family to flee. In the daring escape, Lin Beifong sacrificed.
I will say the theme embedded itself a little too deep into the music, because in The Last Airbender I loved how grounded the music was, and in here some of the action scenes are just like jazz music going off, and it totally does not fit the theme of bending, like two benders fighting off like earth and fire and all this, and it's like jazz, like tubas going off. There's a new style of bending that's out. It's like a quick and actiony kind of way, I guess. It's mostly only used in tournaments, which I don't mind, because that's where you need to be quick and agile. It's pretty much like MMA punches or some shit. I am a fan and not a fan of this because it is used a little bit too much in the day-to-day fighting, when I wish they would have just stuck to what was created in The Last Airbender, because they did, in The Last Airbender, they made the impossible happen. The magic of that world, the bending, they made it believable, which is incredibly hard to do in any fantasy like story. Like, sure, oh, magic potions in the world, yeah, sure, I'll believe that, but like, will you really believe that it could be an actual thing? Like the earth bending stance and the way Toph taught Aang in The Last Airbender felt like it could be a real thing. And I'm not saying I'm going outside right now. I'm gonna, oh yeah, I could totally earth bend the earth, guys.
Be steady and strong. Rock is a stubborn element. If you're going to move it, you've got to be like a rock yourself. Like a rock.
But I am saying that I am not a fan of this like new style of like super quick earth bending, because it takes away the roots of what makes bending believable. Throughout the story, we get into some little things. One of my favorite characters of the show was Tano. He was the leader of the X-Championship back-to-back squad, the Wolfpack guys, and they fought each other in the tournament, but Tano at one point gets his bending taken away, and I thought he was voice acted incredible, by the way. He gets his bending taken away, and then you see him at like rock bottom in the police station at one point, and I was like, oh my, is he gonna join the team as the non-bender? That would be sweet. And he doesn't join the team as an unbender. I'm really sad about that shit.
I've been to the best healers in the city. Whatever Amon did to me, it's permanent.
If Tano comes back in any way, that would be perfect. Because that already sets up a great character arc. He was super confident, super cocky, hated Korra. Boom. He cheats his way to win the championship. Oh yeah, I'm totally the best, even though he knows he's not the best because he cheated to get it. Then he gets his bending taken away and he's at rock bottom. And he's like nice to Korra and all this. And he's like, yeah, go kick Amon's ass for me. And it's like, yo, join the team, man! Another little thing is that Korra needed to learn airbending. She already knows fire, earth, and water really well. Airbending was something she needed to learn, and there was a really cool scene I noticed when she was being taught earthbending. When she was being taught airbending from Tenzin on like the little like wheelie things, he showed her how to do it and how you have to take like a defensive stance. And you have to be always agile and always know where you're going. And it's like, that looks so familiar to me because Aang did that all the time without even me realizing it. When Aang would airbend in a defensive position and go and take this like fluid movement as if he was air, and to see that in the next like series of something like, whoa, wait a minute, like the last airbender didn't even describe that as airbending because he never needed to learn it, so the audience never got to learn it. Now it's like, oh, this is familiar.
Airbending is all about spiral movements. When you meet resistance, you must be able to switch direction at a moment's notice.
So near the ending, Korra loses her bending. And I was like, wait a minute. No. This is season 1. And unless she has to lose her bending and then relearn all earth, fire, and water as the Avatar, there's no way that the Avatar could go through 3 more seasons with no bending. That's like James Bond having no action in a movie. Like, that would literally be insane. But turns out somehow Amon took away all of her bending that she had for earth, fire, and water. But right when Maka's about to get his bending taken away, Korra's like, nah, I'll just learn air right now. And this is actually kind of a cool scene. It's around this point that we get Tarlock's backstory, who Tarlock is on the council member. I haven't talked about him yet in this review, but he's a big character of the season. He is Amon's brother, actually. And Amon, who's the bad guy, his name actually isn't Amon. It's like War Talk or some shit. I don't fully remember. But there's a huge backstory about their dad, Yakone, who was a bloodbender, taught them bloodbending, and they became bad guys or whatever, and he split off or some shit. Anyways, Tarlock and Amon are related to brothers. And I will say the backstory was pretty cool, but in the end, Amon ends up escaping with Tarlock, and what happens here is a really cool scene. It's Tarlock's like, oh yeah, okay, I know what I have to do. I'm just gonna destroy the boat with us on it, and it's kind of a sad scene. Although I thought they were gonna take more of a Leon the Professional way with it at the end, where it would just be silent. But overall, in the final 5 minutes, Korra is crying on the ground because, well, she lost her bending, and that is a reasonable response. But then Aang shows up in spiritual form.
But you called me here.
And it's kind of an oh no anyway moment, like, oh, I lost my bending. Oh no. Anyways, Aang gives it back to her, and she knows how to bend again. And not only that, she knows how to give people back their bending. So it is kind of a big Deus Ex Machina kind of moment, but I forgive it because the music is pretty epic here. So yeah, Legend of Korra, I had quite a blast going through for season 1. Overall, I knew it wouldn't be as good as Avatar: The Last Airbender. The standard is too high, it's too much of a burden. So I kind of went in with low expectations, which is probably a good thing. But still, I really enjoyed getting back into this universe. And overall, if I depended on it, I would be looking at a pretty solid 3.5 out of 5. So that's it. The Legend of Korra Season 1 is done. She lost her bending. She gained it back. She has gained back her relationship with Mako. She seemingly has it all. So where do we go from here? This is where I'm confused. what's the objective now? Someone's gonna come in? I'm honestly don't know, like, where are we going from here? There's 3 seasons left? How? It's just so weird to see that in The Last Airbender there was one objective to now it's like season by season stuff. Am I a fan of it? Well, I can't say that yet. Let me get to season 2 first. But for now, I'm your host, Saber Planet Entertainment, and OBJ's Review. Peace out. What is up? I know what you're thinking. You're only here for the bonus Easter egg soundtrack I put in at the end of every video. But did you also know I have a donation page under Buy Me a Coffee? Donate whatever you want to my channel and I'll put half of that back to an environmental charity. So that's that. Enjoy the music. Peace out.